Okay. Okay, so now this dish has many different names: fufu, ugali, kaunga, uwari, nsima, pap, and many people think it's one dish, but it's not. When most people hear the word fufu, they picture one thing: a smooth mound of starch eaten with soup. But that image hides a much larger and older story, because fufu is not a single food, it's a system. The idea behind fufu originated in West and Central Africa long before modern countries existed. In regions that are now Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire, people relied on yams and cassava. These crops were abundant, filling, and reliable. They were pounded, fermented, or cooked into dense starches that could sustain hard physical labor. This was the earliest form of what many people now call fufu. Traditional fufu wasn't measured. Cassava or yams were peeled, boiled, fermented, and pounded by hand using large wooden sticks or mortars. The pounding mattered. It wasn't just cooking, it was transformation. The goal was elasticity, smoothness, and strength, a food that could be shaped, dipped, and shared. Fufu wasn't meant to be eaten alone. It was paired with soups and stews rich in vegetables, palm oil, and protein. Leafy greens, okra, groundnuts, then meat was added when available, goat, fish, dried meat, or offals. Fufu wasn't the star, it was actually just the foundation. As you move across the continent, the idea stays the same, but the crops change. In Eastern and Southern Africa, cassava and yams were less dominant. Grains took their place. In Zambia, that staple became Nshima. Nshima is made from maize meal, a crop introduced to Africa from the Americas centuries later. But when maize proved reliable, it was embraced, not because tradition was lost, but because tradition adapts. Originally, maize was dried, pounded by hand, and cooked slowly over open fires. Water was brought to boil. Maize meal was added gradually, stirred consistently to avoid lumps. The cook judged readiness by feel and not time. The texture had to be firm, smooth, and strong enough to break and scoop. This knowledge was passed down and not written. Like fufu, Nshima is never eaten alone. It's paired with what Zambians call relish, ndio, umunani. Vegetables like pumpkin leaves, rape, or okra, beans, groundnuts, and when available, fish, chicken, or meat. Nshima carries the flavor, it balances the spice, and it fills the body. To people unfamiliar with it, Nshima or fufu can seem bland, but that's misunderstanding its purpose. This food is not about seasoning, it's about structure. It allows strong, complex dishes to exist. People argue about fufu because staple foods became identity. Each version reflects land, history, and survival. Calling everything fufu simplifies something deeply personal. When Africans migrated across the world, these foods traveled too. But outside the continent, differences blurred. Different names collapsed into one. Different methods treated as identical. Something specific became generalized. Calling Nshima Zambian fufu isn't entirely wrong, but it misses something important because Nshima has its own rhythm, its own history, its own rules, and understanding that difference matters. Fufu and Nshima represent survival, they represent adaptation, they represent communities feeding themselves with what the land provides, quietly, daily, and for generations. So when you see fufu or Nshima, remember, you're not looking at one dish, you're looking at many histories. Okay, so this is the final product me and Malachi are about to test. We've got the fufu, the Nshima itself, the meat, and the spinach. So what you do is you just take a chunk of the fufu, roll it up, at least that's how we do it in Zambia, so that you're able to carry some meat or vegetables with it. Then you just dip into the soup, the sauce, and then you just eat it. And I think Mr. Malachi wants to taste as well. So this is pretty good. I grew up eating, Nshima in Zambia. And that's his first time tasting it. And I think he likes it. Yeah, so thank you for watching. That's the video. Thank you.